The division series, it just keeps going and going and going. Just when it seems like, Parker, that we were going to have maybe three sweeps, everything kind of got turned on its head. And I wanted to check in with you because a lot of these series we're now 4 games into it. We have some games live right now as we record the night of Wednesday the 8th. What do you make of these division series? They're kind of just wild right now.
Yeah, the division series have been interesting because it looked like the Blue Jays were just going to have their way with the Yankees in 3 games. Then we had this incredible comeback orchestrated by the Yankees and Aaron Judge last night. Now it's the top of the 8th. As at the time of recording, and the Blue Jays appear like they're going to wrap up the series. It is 4-1 Blue Jays in Game 4, and it's like, wow, that series got a little exciting, but kind of is figuring out where it wants to go. The Cubs forced a Game 4. Cubs forced a Game 4 today. The Mariners and Detroit series has actually been like kind of a slobber knocker and super, super intriguing. When I thought that the Tigers at the beginning of this playoff run were so stagnant and had such a terrible September that they were going to be uncompetitive. Turns out that they have something to prove here. And is Game 5, is Skubal going to be able to start Game 5?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't even know if they have the probables out yet, but I would think it'll be on a little bit of short rest, but he should be able to.
Yeah, if he could start Game 5, then I think I give that series to Detroit. And I picked the Mariners to win the World Series. So, that's absolutely
wild.
Nuts. Yeah, and then another classic case of the Phillies kind of underperforming in the playoffs so far. It's Game 3 right now, 0-0 in the end of the second inning, and the Dodgers are leading 2-0 in that series. So, to answer your question, these division series are crazy, and I'm having a lot of fun keeping up with them.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of fun, and there's things I feel like every time we go into a playoffs every year, you're always like, all right, so we expect 50% of this to happen the way we write it, and then 50% of it is just kind of a wild card.
Yep.
This has all been wild cards, with the exception of, not even with the exception of the Dodgers, because you thought the Phillies were going to put up a more competitive series.
Mm-hmm.
That, in its own way, has been just totally out of left field. So I want to focus in on some of these series because it's kind of exposing these teams a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. And I want to start with the Blue Jays Yankee series, Parker, because I didn't expect the Yankees to struggle as mightily as they are. And I didn't expect the Blue Jays to be saved from some really stellar pitching performances when we really gave them so much shit before this series about their pitching.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about the Yankees in the postseason recently is that the narrative surrounding the Yankees has always been in the postseason that Aaron Judge doesn't perform. It's almost like that's the opposite of what's going on this year, because Aaron Judge is kind of the only thing performing for the Yankees this year in the playoffs, or at least in this particular series. Toronto's offense has 23 runs through the first 2 games. That is a postseason record. Through the first 2 games, they scored 23 runs, and then in the third game, we saw what happened. The Yankees were able to come back and win. They even exploded out for 4 more runs in the first 2 innings of Game 3, and it looked like the Yankees were sunk. And then we start seeing, Aaron Judge was able to hit a 3-run home run to tie the game 6-6. It was absolutely insane. He took a 100-mile-an-hour fastball that was in on his hands and wrapped it and hit it off the left field foul pole. Absolutely crazy. Jazz Chisholm hits a go ahead home run soon after. The Yankees were able to salvage Game 3. But then we also have the Blue Jays, like you said. Trey Savage has 5 1/3 no-hit innings with 11 strikeouts in Game 2.
Wow.
Where did this guy come from, and how did he turn into the postseason beast that he has been so far for the Blue Jays?
Yeah, I think it's very clear it will take a mini miracle for the Yankees to win this series.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, down 2-1, they're down
And
3
I
runs
think
to
they
the 8th
used that
right
mini
now.
miracle yesterday.
Honestly, I think they did. They cashed in on it. And so let's just play this out where we do have the Blue Jays winning this series, which is very likely at this point. Where in the world do the Yankees go from here? I mean, they just cannot seem, much like the Phillies in the National League, to put it together in the postseason.
Yeah, I don't know. Where do the Phillies go? It's kind of the same question, like you just said.
Yeah.
When you have these powerhouse teams, when you have these teams that are so focused on winning and have done pretty successfully winning over the last few seasons, just not quite reaching the peak of the mountain, like it's the tiniest of margins. It's the tiniest of improvements you could possibly make. Like, how do you feasibly improve your team from the rotation that the Yankees brought into the postseason? Well, Garrett Cole stays healthy. Okay. If Garrett Cole stays healthy and they have Max Fried and they have Carlos Rodon, and then you have Schlittler coming out of the bullpen and maybe a Luis Heel and now a Will Warren. Like, you have all these pitching options. You strengthen your strengths, I think, is what you do. You dive even harder into what your team does best. And what the Yankees do best right now is hit home runs and starting pitch. So I think that that's what they have to do. And then you shore up weaknesses. So the Yankees probably should shore up their bullpen. Now, that's not to say that they haven't tried. They had what on paper looked like the best trade deadline in all of Major League Baseball because they got so many viable bullpen options, and still it has not been enough. I don't know what they are feeding the bullpen in the cafeteria at Yankee Stadium or however they're feeding these people, but it doesn't seem like they are performing on a unit level. Like, Bednar's good, everybody else is mid, like at best. And a team that doesn't have a reliable bullpen, I'm not even saying a very, very good bullpen, but a reliable bullpen in the playoffs, simply cannot dream of competing. Because what happens in the playoffs is quick pitching changes in situations that, warrant a lefty on lefty matchup, or maybe they want to pinch hit for their whoever, and because of that, you leave someone in for one batter longer, and it creates these matchups where you're pitting the bench against the bullpen, and the teams that have the deepest bench versus the shallowest bullpen are going to win, and vice versa. So you have to shore up all of those things. You have to be such a complete team to win the World Series, and the Yankees know that. I mean, Brian Cashman knows that better than anybody. Aaron Boone knows that better than anybody. In 2003, after he hit that walk-off home run to eliminate the Red Sox, they went and they got eliminated by the Marlins in the World Series eventually. Like, he knows how hard it is to be that good in the margins and to get everything to click. And I think that the Phillies and the Yankees both find themselves in the situation where they've invested so much money that it is hard to improve without just throwing away huge chunks of money and contracts and investments that they've made.
Yeah, I like to compare these two powerhouse teams to the powerhouse team that they're trying to emulate, and it's always the Dodgers. I think that the thing that really separates the Dodgers between the Phillies and the Yankees is a couple key things that I think the Yankees and the Phillies need to really look at. Number one, it's depth. This next man up mentality doesn't really exist on the Phillies, and certainly not the Yankees. And number two, you look at the Dodgers, Parker, and I like looking at the floor. Like, tell me what the floor is for the team. And the floor for the Dodgers, or excuse me, the floor for the Yankees, much lower than the Dodgers floor. Like, the mid Dodgers performance are some teams' best performances, right? Like,
I agree.
if you were to raise the floor on a team like the Yankees, then we're cooking. Then you don't have this boomer bust Yankees lineup that has seemingly been that way for 5 to 10 years, and it just never ends. That's kind of the cycle they need to break out of at this point.
Yeah, and then what else do you see in the Dodgers lineup that is reliable enough that directly leads to better postseason performance? And to me, it's experience. These are seasoned winners. Teoscar Hernandez is not daunted by the moment. I don't care how bad a season Kike Hernandez had. He is a threat in the postseason. I don't care how bad a season Tommy Edman had. He is a threat in the postseason. These guys know how to perform in the big moments. Honestly, their juices might not even get flowing until the biggest moments, until the postseason, until Dodger Stadium is packed full of celebrities, the lights are on, and they're playing for a title. The Yankees, when you look at their lineup, it's like, okay, Ryan McMahon's never competed for a postseason, anything. Ben Rice is a child. Austin Wells has one postseason appearance. Aaron Judge is currently having his best postseason ever, but it's the first good one. Cody Bellinger, yes, has made postseason runs in the past, so there he's bringing some of that. But then like
Even like a
Trent
Jazz
Grisham's not a
Chisholm
post. Yeah, Jazz Chisholm has
hasn't.
not had postseason experience. I say
No.
outside of last year, Trent Grisham's not a postseason guy outside of last year. It's like, wow, this team, while can explode, like you said, they tend to like when one person is firing, they all tend to fire on all cylinders. But if nobody does, or if only Judge does, these guys are not the seasoned winners, the move the runner over guys that have been trained and hardened by postseason baseball in a way that actually leads to productive, come from behind victory. I know this is so crazy to say this when they just did it yesterday, but we're seeing what happened in the series. It's now 5-1 Blue Jays, by the way. Like we're seeing what has happened in this series, and
Wow.
the Yankees just were not able to come prepared and ready to rock and roll with one of the most explosive lineups in Major League Baseball, because the Yankees just, if they don't all go, then none of them are going.
Yeah, we have been kind of comparing them to the Dodgers here. I want to jump to the Dodgers Phillies series real quick before we get to the others. The Dodgers are now up 1-0 at the bottom of the third. Parker, we're seeing just smart baseball, as we always do with the Dodgers. We're seeing Mookie Betts step up. He had the game-saving kind of wheel play at shortstop. That Rōki Sasaki's coming out of the bullpen and just throwing bullets. I mean, this team is looking like they may actually be unstoppable in this postseason. Is that what we're looking at right now? Because it sure as hell seems like it.
Yeah, kids, when your coach tells you that the fundamentals are the important part, they are not joking. When the Dodgers, like Ben Verlander, and say what you want about Ben Verlander, I think he's got pretty decent takes and stuff like that, but he's definitely a huge Dodgers fanboy. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But his point that he made on Twitter the other day, and he's not the only one to make it, but it's just the one I saw first. You practice the wheel play all year for maybe 4 to 5 times in an 162 plus game season that you will run into it. And the Dodgers maybe have not done it like that all year, but at the time where it matters most in the postseason, we're able to execute the wheel play on a bunt to throw the runner out at third, cut down the lead runner to perfection,
Yeah.
And that's the type of thing that you see that good and great baseball teams do without even sweating. If the Red Sox were put in that position, that ball's going down the left field line and we're not getting that runner out at third base. But that's because the Red Sox are young and experience is not as good defensively. The Dodgers are
Yeah.
good in every facet of the game. They are solid. They are veteran led. Like, I don't know. Like, this is what makes the Dodgers who the Dodgers are. And we are now, as we are recording, in a position where it is feasible that the Los Angeles Dodgers make it all the way to the World Series and maybe even win the World Series without dropping a game in the postseason. They have already made it through the wild card and probably the division series without dropping a game. And like, it's hard to win 5 baseball games in a row, no matter who you're playing against, but to do it in the playoffs, that's pretty crazy.
They are who we thought they were.
Yeah, maybe. It's what did we say all year? Like, genuinely, you and I and most analysts were saying all year, like, yeah, okay, they may be they may be finished with 91 wins, maybe they finished with 88 wins, whatever. They're still the Dodgers. And what I said earlier about being seasoned winners applies so much more in October than it does in April.
And I'll end it this way, talking about the Dodgers, because I'm projecting this out. So let's say we know that Toronto looks like they're gonna advance. Let's just say the team with the better pitching, Seattle. Let's say they pull out the win tomorrow or Friday. So let's say the Dodgers need to get past either Milwaukee or the Cubs, which they can get past either easily. Okay, and then they're going to a World Series and they're playing Seattle or Toronto. They can also get through them easily. Like there's like an A team and then the C teams.
If there's a team that I think would do well against the Dodgers, the best team right now to go against the Dodgers, I think it's the Blue Jays.
Riding the hot hand, yes, I would agree with
Riding the hot hand, but also like see what they've been able to do against good left-handed pitching in the
you.
Yankees, good
Sure.
starting pitching in the Yankees. Now, granted, the Dodgers bullpen is leagues better than the Yankees bullpen, and a lot of the Blue Jays run scoring has happened against the Yankees bullpen. But I mean, they got to Carlos Rodon, who's been good. He's not been great, but he's been good. And if that's going to be the barometer is how you do against starting pitching, then that's, I guess, the closest thing to the Dodgers would be the Yankees starting pitching in this offseason, in this postseason.
The Cubs, Parker, have just been really struggling to stay alive in this Brewers Cubs series, and
Yep.
Milwaukee's small ball, man. They are literally small. They are a
Yep.
team of really short, really
Yep.
just like go at it in the dirt ball players who play really good small ball, who have great situational hitting and are spraying it all over the field in the gaps. And the Cubs don't know what to do about it. So, I mean, right now, Parker, they're outscoring the Cubs 16-6 in this series. The fact that the Cubs were able to even pull off a win today is quite remarkable. I don't know that this goes another game, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think this ends in 4 games. The Cubs, like you said, 16-6 scoring wise, they're hitting 292 as a team, which if you don't spend a ton of time looking at team stats, sometimes it's hard to remember. Like a team's batting average should basically be the league average batting average at best. The fact that a team is hitting 292 is absolutely astronomical. And 825 OPS as a team is bananas. They have forced more errors than any team in the postseason. And now I don't love the term forcing errors in baseball. It's not like basketball. I'm not like playing up front one-on-one defense on you. But one thing that you mentioned is that the Brewers are like physically smaller. They're playing a small ball style. They are running the bases. They are putting the ball in play. And how did we see the Dodgers win a World Series against the Yankees last year? They put the ball in play and let the Yankees kick it around. And I don't mean to keep crapping on the Yankees, but this is what the Brewers are doing. And they learned from what worked last year. And that is make them make a play. And the Cubs haven't made as many plays as they should have. Jackson Chourio is also an absolute monster. He's hitting 556 with 3 home runs and 9 RBI. This guy's nursing a injured, sore, whatever hamstring, and he has been an absolute titan for these Milwaukee Brewers. I don't know, man. The Brewers look really good too. I don't know if this is the style of play that's going to take down the Dodgers, or maybe it's the perfect style of play to take down the Dodgers. I don't know, but I'm excited to see the matchup for sure.
Yeah, I go back to just the Brewers have that little extra something special, and sometimes that's all it takes in a series to win against a really good team like the Dodgers. So we will see. However, Parker, Tigers and Mariners, I didn't expect this series to be as competitive as it has been. I am shocked as some of the best baseball this week has come out of this series. If you today, looking at this series, knowing that we're going into a game 5 with 2-2 tied, who are you giving this to right now? I think it's kind of a coin toss right now.
I actually think it's less than a coin toss.
Okay.
Mostly because number one, Seattle, we know that they're bringing a 2.25 starter ERA through the first 3 games of this series. This is what Seattle was going to do the whole time. We knew that coming from the Seattle starting rotation. Let's say best case scenario for the Tigers. You've got Tarik Skubal on the mound game 5. I don't know if that's the case. I don't, like you said earlier, I don't think that the projected starters have been posted, but if Skubal, even if you have Tarik Skubal, the best pitcher on planet Earth, starting in game 5, do you have any more semblance of confidence in this Tigers team with Skubal on the mound, knowing that the only team in baseball that has beaten Tarik Skubal 3 times this season is the Seattle Mariners? Tarik Skubal has started against the Mariners 3 times, and every single time the Detroit Tigers have lost the game. Add that to the fact that Jorge Polanco, he hit 2 home runs the other day. He's one of 4 Mariners ever to hit multiple home runs in a Mariners postseason game. Joins Ken Griffey Jr., Edgar, and Jay Buhner. That's some pretty solid Mariners royalty there. On top of the fact that JP Crawford's hitting 409, he's got 6 RBI. They are 1 win away for their first ALCS in 25 years. And to me, I think that right there, not to mention the fact that they are going to be playing this game at home, they have the starting rotation that they do. Cal Raleigh's still around, man, and he's still affecting these games. I still have to go Mariners. I made the pick. I'm going to stick with the pick. I think the Mariners win this game 5.
I'm with you. It's hard for me to back off my Mariners pick. I am looking at the probables Friday, Seattle's TBD, and it is Tarek Skubal for Detroit. So
there you go.
I don't know, man. If we've learned
is that
anything,
4 days rest? I think that's 4 days.
That's 4 days rest. So not terrible, not terrible. No. However, you look at what Skubal's done this postseason, and if anything, we've learned that Skubal is not invincible. We've learned that.
No, Tarek Skubal is not invincible by any means. He's, like I said, he's lost three of those games against the Mariners. So I don't know. Wow. I'm definitely pulling for the Mariners for what it's worth.